Greetings from Crystal Lake, Illinois. I'm Jim Hooker, board chair for Bright Stars of Bethlehem, and this is my wife of 57 years, Susan.
As you can see, we are flying both the colors of the Stars and Stripes and the flag of Palestine. We fly the Palestinian flag to honor our longtime friend and colleague, Reverend Dr. Mitri Raheb, who, as you know, is the founder and president of the only arts and culture university in Palestine, al-Kalima University.
We met Mitri in the early 2000s on trips we made to Jerusalem. In 2013, he asked us to come to Bethlehem to work on a consulting project that required us to spend 3 weeks there. It was exciting to get a more intimate knowledge of al-Kalima University and experience Mitri's vision for the students up close. We were hooked on the promise of bringing hope to his students in Palestine in general. It was then that I joined the board of Bright Stars. In 2015, I became chairman of Bright Stars of Bethlehem and had the privilege of experiencing Mitri's growing vision for al-Kalima University. In 2016, he built a new state-of-the-art library with the support of donors like you. We've had the experience of being with students whose daily life is challenging, dealing with checkpoints and other difficulties. With today's increasingly oppressive situation, some of them cannot even get to the university for classes. These students have hope for their future because of the experience they have with creative teachers and fellow students. They are exciting to be around Mitri's growing vision for al-Kalima University with the Hospitality Center, the Entrepreneurial Hub, and other projects that are expanding horizons that underscores the promise that hope is what we do. For those of you who have already been a part of our donor family, thank you. If you haven't yet, we hope you will consider donating today to help us support our vision for hope for the next generation of creative leaders and all the people of Palestine who suffer daily under the increasing pressures of occupation. Your gifts inspire hope in our students, in our faculty and staff, and in the people of Palestine. Again, hope is what we do.
I'd like to share the story of one of our brightest students, Haneen, who was a first-year fine arts student when we met her 5 years ago. She lived in a remote village about 30 minutes drive from Bethlehem. As part of a meeting of the board of directors, Mitri took us to visit Haneen's village, to see the living conditions and meet with a few people there. Haneen's beautiful paintings were proudly on display in the main courtyard. Then she invited us to join her mother and the other village women for a meeting in one of their homes. It turns out they had quite an agenda. After expressing gratitude for the terrific education Haneen was receiving, the women made their request. They wanted us to help them convince the Israeli government to restore the field of solar panels that had been providing power to the village for the past few years. Israeli Defense Force soldiers had recently dismantled the panels, saying that they were illegal, and the village had no right to electricity. The solar field had been donated by a German organization, and these women had no idea why it had suddenly been determined to be illegal. Electricity had been a wonderful boon to this village, as people now had electric water pumps, washing machines, lights, and power for their cell phones. They had to have someone collect the phones and drive them to Bethlehem every single day to charge them up. And this was in 2018, in a village just outside Bethlehem. Fortunately, a couple of members of our group had good connections at the American consulate in Jerusalem and were able to use their influence to get those solar panels restored a couple of months later. Today, Haneen is married and the mother of 2 young children. She's also teaching art in an elementary school, spreading her joy and love for art to a new generation of Palestinian children. This was the ripple effect of one student's education, her influence on the other women in her community, and their feeling of empowerment to ask for the help they needed. These ripple effects are occurring all over Palestine, as DAK students are empowered to reach out to their families and their communities and spread hope and opportunity.
Your support gives these high potential young people the education they need to be hopeful. They're fulfilling their dreams to use their God-given talents to become filmmakers, artists, musicians, jewelry makers, chefs, and entrepreneurs. They are preserving and enriching the Palestinian culture and are making a difference in the lives of their families and their communities. Please join us in helping them to build a bright future for Palestine. We want you to experience the exhilaration of being part of this vision Mitri has for the future. We invite you to see the hope and be the hope.